What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm here to talk about this man, Dylan Larkin. What are we going to do about him? And what is the future looking like for the old boy Dylan Larkin? Well, Steve Yzerman's gone, which I feel like was one of the biggest reasons why he left, or why he wanted to leave. But mainly because that GM has been terrible. He did a great job in Tampa, but man, he did a crappy job. But I truly think that Larkin with this Yzerman situation might change his mind, but not for long. There's only three ways this is going to go. They trade him before the season, he stays and gets traded, or he stays. That's it. And the reason I've come to that, and obviously those are like the three only options, but the reason why you come to those options is if he's just like, what's the point of a new GM? The new GM is now going to have to deal with the mess that Yzerman made. But I think he's also inclined to potentially stay, at least for the season. So if they start the season and they're not terrible, they might have a chance. The thing about the Red Wings, especially the last 2 years, is that they end up getting hot and they end up becoming a problem in the NHL, but then they just have these long stretches. And I believe it was 2 years ago where it was just they had a terrible start to the season. Then they picked it up. They like switched, and they were only a couple points away from making the playoffs. Then last year, same thing. Like they're trying to make a late push, but didn't get close enough. And that is something that is very annoying for the Red Wings. They need to be able to start and finish seasons. And I think if they could get a squad, it could happen. But like Dylan Larkin, will he want to do that? Because if I'm Dylan Larkin, those are my three options, right? I'm either staying for the beginning of the season, which is going to be tough. Because are the fans done with me? Because based off of the reception, a lot of people were mad about Dylan Larkin. And listen, if I was in a Red Wings fan's shoes, I understand why you're mad, but I would also not be mad at him. I would be mad at Yzerman for not helping this team ever succeed. These decisions have always been kind of rough. Like, yes, I like Patrick Kane too, but I feel like you could have made better options. And you got a pretty decent deal with Patrick Kane. So the fact that you couldn't get other star players to come in and actually make some noise is a problem. All of his moves didn't make the best of sense. Like they have 15 goalies on the roster, it felt like every single season, and they had a carousel to hope for one of them was the guy, and none of them have been. They go out and get Gibson. I thought the move was good, but it ended up not being the best of moves. He didn't show great things. The Red Wings really need not a reset, but they definitely need some more firepower. This year, obviously, free agency, they didn't do a lot, but there wasn't a lot on the market. What were you going to do? Get Anthony Mantha? I don't think there was not much. A lot of the best players were already taken, and there was not other players you really were going to get. So for teams like that, it really hurt with a low class of free agents, because why am I going to go sign guys that are already playing on our team, that are on our third line already? And there's just not moves that you can make. But whenever the new GM gets hired, the biggest thing is going to be, well, who and what is the plan? Who's next a part of our plan? Because obviously they have to have a discussion with Dylan Larkin. Dylan has now added only the stars to the trade list. Now, I think that doesn't help. It's still a 3-team list, because I don't think, especially with the arbitration news that just came out about Akira Schmid, I think that the Florida Panthers are like stuck at the cap now. Like they have no more cap space. So now you have to deal with that. Unless you trade Lindell and some other pieces, there's no way you're going to go get them. So you're more likely just going to sit back, relax, and feel comfortable about your roster, which you should. And now it's only Minnesota, Vegas, or Dallas, which all three of them have the same amount of prospects, like a top prospect. Maybe Minnesota out of the three are the best. Not really getting good star players in return. Like, who are you really getting from Dallas if they're sending a player your way? I really don't know. Vegas, if you want a center in return, they'll give you Hurdle, but do you want Hurdle? Probably not. Yzerman did. And if you're the Wild, are you looking for another goaltender that they might be interested in trading? That's another one that's kind of like they don't have a lot of players now that can go, which was Yzerman. That was their biggest problem because Yzerman just would continue to, pick and choose what to do. And he was like, no, I don't want picks. I don't want prospects. I want NHL ready players. Well, now is that mind shift shifting? And I understood why Yzerman wanted to do that because you think this team is just a couple of players away from being a playoff team, which I don't think he's necessarily wrong. I think that squad the last few years have been very close. They just get to those, they either just start too late to get hot, or they start hot, but they just can never get those games that are like must have, But they always put themselves in a situation where they're like at the last 10 games of the year, you have to win 8 of them, or you have to at least get, 2 points in 7 of them. And it's like, that's tough. That's tough to do down the stretch. So it's like, I understand why Yzerman wanted to do that, but I don't know if that's going to be the case for this new theme. Like, if Larkin is very hell bent on I want to be gone, I'm done. I'm not putting on a Red Wings uniform ever again. They have to get a deal done with one of those 3 teams. Who is that? Every team has sounded like they are comfortable with where their roster's at. The only team that might just say, "Hey," if they say, "Here's our offer," that is it. Are the Red Wings going to be inclined in just saying, we are just put into a bad situation where we cannot get anything in return that is going to be great. We just should take this deal. That's not a great thing to do, but it kind of just feels like where it's heading if you go that direction. Because I think the best case scenario for both teams is just simple. I think for Larkin, you stay. Like, looking at his numbers, he played 74 games last year. He had 34 goals, which is pretty good, 33 assists, 67 points. He was 4th best in the playoff circle with 789 wins. Like, he played well. He's almost played in 1,000. He's played in 800 games. Like, he is an NHL. He has played the games. He is the guy. And he plays in every situation. He can play on the power play, he can be on the penalty kill. That face-off dot is one of the most important stats in the NHL. I think it's one of the most important non-crazy stats people truly talk about when it comes to like negotiations or anything like that. He is one of the best centers when it comes to the face-off dot, which you need, especially in the playoffs, and is why the Stars, the Minnesota Wild, and the Vegas Golden Knights, they should be very interested in a guy like Larkin because, to me, Jack Eichel's never been the best at the face-off dot. This is just me as a Vegas fan now speaking. Carlson's our best face-off guy. Stevenson probably has been our best face-off guy ever. Hurdle's not the best at the face-off circle. If I could replace Hurdle with Larkin, I'll take that in a heartbeat because it would work so well. So I think if I'm the Red Wings and if I'm Larkin, start the year with the Red Wings. Start the year with each other. That might be a little awkward. The fans might boo. The organization might be like, wow, they were too chicken to make a decision, blah, blah, blah. Start and just see what happens. Because what I would say to Larkin at the start of the year, can you please give us at least 10 teams. And maybe that's asking for a lot, but give me a 10-team list because some teams might not be able to make the cap work. Give me a 10-team list of your top teams you would like to go to. And we'll start the season and you'll play. Who knows if he'll be the captain or not, but you'll play. We'll see how it goes. And if before the trade deadline it looks like we're not going to make anything happen, it doesn't look like we're a playoff team, we're just going to ship you out to one of your 10 teams that you give us. Or at least a freaking 7-team list. He needs more teams on the list. Because, I mean, that's why it's like everyone's like, oh, why Vegas? Why Minnesota? Why the... It's because those are the only 3 teams he would actually go to. And if I'm Larkin, you might be forcing your way to somewhere. Like, and I know everyone's just, when I make these videos, I take my fandom out of everything. Let's just make that real. But I feel like Larkin would force his way to Vegas because it's probably the easier path to get to a cup and easier path to have success. Because if you're Dylan Larkin and they say, well, Vegas has a trade, if it's, say trade deadline is here, 2 teams have now called. One team is not on Larkin's no trade list or Larkin's list because there's only 3 to 4 teams. Vegas, and let's just say what's a team that's good that is let's say San Jose who's not on his list. Or actually that's a bad look because I actually need San Jose to not be in this because it makes more sense for the Vegas conversation. Let's say like the Jets, okay? Random thing. I know that's stupid, but you'll hear why in a second. Let's just say the Jets are having a phenomenal season, right? Jets are having a good season. They need a center. They want Dylan Larkin. So Jets have a bounce back here. They're about to go get Dylan Larkin. But Dylan now gets to choose, does he want to go to the Jets or does he want to go to Vegas? Well, which team is the more likely one to be a playoff team for the next 5 years? Vegas. Which is the more likely I will be in the best situation to win? Vegas. Which one has an easier path the first 2 rounds before the other 3? Well, both because the West, but it's Vegas because the Jets would have to play the Wild or the Stars or the Avalanche. If he picks Vegas, he knows that he has a lighter route to get to a Western Conference final and then a Stanley Cup final appearance. That is where the shoes get to if he gets to a deadline scenario and has to pick where he wants to go. So, best case scenario, they're a good team. They're not sellers at the deadline. They're buyers at the deadline. And now all of a sudden, Larkin was almost about to be traded. He ends up staying. And maybe they make the playoffs and they're eliminated the first round. But now they're a team that are back in the playoffs. And now the team knows we're going to go after the top free agents we can. And now all of a sudden, they went from not being a playoff team to being a playoff team and now going out and getting the big guys. And because if they can make Hockey Town again, where people want to go and play, people want to go play for that franchise and make that franchise great again, I think it would be amazing. And Larkin being the head of that would be the biggest part. But those are the only 3 decisions. And the best one for Larkin isn't the best one for the team. Because to me, if it's the team, the best option's probably trading him before the season. Because if you're just going to rebuild now. Don't wait to rebuild. If I'm the Red Wings and they're like, hey, if I would literally, that's a part of my discussion with Larkin. Do you want to stay to see what the start of the season goes? If he says no, trade me, I don't want to wear a Red Wings jersey, fine. Trade him. Trade him away. Trade him away. Start your rebuild. And even if these teams are packaging something that isn't great, right? Like if Minnesota's package isn't great, if Vegas's package is like Hurdle and a couple of picks, and you then have like Dallas having something similar, but like if you're like, okay, Hurdle at least could be a second line center, what I would do, well, Hurdle would be the top center for them. What I would do is I would like, all right, well, whatever teams gives me the best center, in my mind, is also what I'm taking. So if they can give me the best picks and the best player in the deal, that's the deal I'm taking. So because Vegas has shit for prospects, same for the other two teams. So it's like, all right, Vegas, I'll make a deal with you. I would flip Hurdle immediately, or flip those picks to try to go get somebody else. But mainly, if I got this deal done tomorrow, before the season starts, I would trade Hurdle in a heartbeat and go out, get a pick for him, officially start the rebuild. Get the prospects from a different team or whatever the hell, but start your rebuild now. Have a shitty year. But listen, the Red Wings had to do it. The Sharks had to do it. At some point, if you're rebuilding, you have to. There's no such thing as partial rebuild. There's no such thing as partial rebuild. You're either rebuilding or you're not. Look at those teams that are like hanging on a rebuild. No, you have to commit to the rebuild. Throw away all the stars that you have to get more assets to then go and make picks and get prospects and develop guys to be your core for the next couple of seasons. That's the move for the Red Wings that makes the most sense. Trade them now to any one of those teams. Flip any player that they get you that season and figure it out later down the road. For Dylan Larkin, I think the best move as of now to be put in the best spot is to play, because I don't think not playing will do you any good. But I think if you just play for the city, play for the team, and hopefully they'll go. And if you're playing, the team is also more likely to trade you, because if you get hurt, are they going to be screwed? Because if you get hurt, they're going to have to pay or they're going to have to get less in the deal if they end up trading you away. But that's the thing too. Larkin could be a complete jerk about this. Will he? Is the question. But I think going in and playing, saying I'm going to commit to you for this season, but let's sort out a plan just in case we get to that trade deadline and we're out. Because I would rather just play hockey, do what I do best, and if I get to the trade deadline and we're a winning team, let's go out and win, baby. But if we're not a playoff team and it looks like we're going to have to once again battle to try to get in, I don't know. Maybe you should just trade me away to a team that can give you as much as they can. But Dylan Larkin has to give more than just Vegas, Minnesota, and Dallas, and Florida. It cannot just be those guys. They need to add on to that resume. Like I just can't. If I'm the Red Wings, I'm like, I'm sorry, dude, we can't do it, because those teams I just don't think could get it done. The only team I truly see is Vegas, just because they always figure out how to talk their way into getting the stars. Like whenever we make, like, everyone remembers the Jack Eichel thing, and like for Jack Eichel, they wanted 2 players, 2 prospects, 2 first-round picks, and everyone was like, okay, that makes sense. And Vegas didn't have to give up that, and it was kind of like, are you joking? That's kind of crazy. They gave up Peyton Krebs, which turned out to be a great move for Vegas because he didn't turn out to be a top guy. Alex Tuck, who is now on a new team, and a first-round pick who I don't even know where he is or what he's doing. I think he's definitely on that team. It might have been Benson. I don't know. Anyways, but that's my opinion. That's my moves. Where do you think Dylan Larkin, what should Dylan Larkin do? If you're Dylan Larkin, where should he go? What should his decision be? Because I would be very interested. If you're a Red Wings fan, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to be it for me. I hope you guys like this video. Enjoy your night or day whenever you guys are watching this. And I will see you all in the next one. Follow me on everything down below. Adios.
You being edgy just fuels my fire. Let go my ego, elevating higher. I'm the king, talking sports, reigning supreme. Slaying every game like it's a dream. Never let go of this ego I hold. More than enough for me and my amigos go. From the diamond to the ice rink, I run the show. All eyes on me, wet wherever I go. You dropped the ball, I caught it all. Save the game when I got the call. Yeah, I'm the champ, the ruling ace. Let go my ego. Winning every race. The sports world's mine. No time to fall. King of the game, hear my victory call.